Where do we start the laying? The first thing to know is what we must not do. Tile to the corner. No. Tile to the wall. No. Tile to the door. OK. The front door must always be our reference point. As you can see in the picture, the first tile must always be centered and in line with the front door. Next, we draw a parallel line to the wall in order not to deviate, and we follow the order as we can see in the picture. Before starting the installation, we check that the floor is clean and flat. Although the system allows for the compensation of some level of irregularities of the ground, we have to apply leveling products if the gap is higher than 3 mm. The content of the boxes is designed for 4 square meters of floor tiles in the formats 60 by 60, 45 by 45 and 30 by 60. These ones facilitate the tiling. Observe how to use the adhesive labels. We fix on the lower base of the profile. Turn the protective film of the label in the other direction. Put the profile on the alignment and draw the film. Now the first profile is attached and located. After, the support base, the tile, and others' profiles. We check that the tile does not move, and we continue the installation. A tile is moving. It seems we've got a problem. This system was thought out to be able to solve a problem of this type. The piece you can see is 1 mm of thickness and is perfectly adapted to the lower base of the profiles, and we can put as many as necessary to stabilize the tile. We compensate. We verify that the tile does not move. We identify where we have compensated, and we continue the installation. The problem is not solved, and it seems more serious. In such a case, the movement of the tile is excessive and requires another solution. We remove the tile to see what the problem is, a problem that is commonly seen, an irregular ground which prevents that the tile remains flat. The solution in this case consists in cutting the sublayer around the curved part, so the level difference will be absorbed by the thickness of the sublayer. We position the tile again, verify it does not move, and continue the installation. After overcoming the irregular areas, we return to the area we have identified. We need to fill with a gun with cement the holes that occurred when we have compensated. We apply the product at various points and reinstall the tiles. considering that the repair process is now finished. Now we install the format 30 by 60. For this type of format we have two possibilities: a tiling in line or staggered. We choose a staggered tiling. As you can see, for this dimension, we use two short profiles in the sense of the length of the tile. This allows to insert the profiles at the center of each tile. Cutting the perimeter of the tiles. Now we have to proceed to the most technical part. Let's see what we need for cutting the tiles. A table to cut, a pair of scissors for PVC, gloves and safety glasses, a cutter, a tile cutter disc, a small rubber hammer. We approach the tiles that we have to measure and mark. And we proceed to cut the tiles. Now the cuts are finished. Following, we cut also the sub-layers. We put the tiles, cut the profiles, and check that it does not move. With the system Idec-Icr, it is not compulsory to leave an expansion area between the wall and the tiles. In order to prevent the dust to install over time, it is necessary to close the narrow spaces between the tiles and the wall with silicone. We advise to finish the tiling with skirtings. Installation of joints. The Idec-Icr system offers two different types of joints. A 3 mm profile joint model used with unrectified ceramics, and the 1.5 mm profile joint model used for both rectified and unrectified ceramics. First, let's take a look at the 3 mm profile joint model. First, we apply small drops of transparent silicone at 10 to 15 cm intervals. We then spread it along the joint with care, so that the top of the tile is not smudged. Just we have to put the upper joints. We introduce the joint by an end, and make gradually a pressure with fingers, making sure it inserts well into the runner of the lower profile. If in some places we meet resistance, as you can see, a small rubber hammer can help. You have to make very soft moves to prevent the tile from damage. The joint must penetrate till the tile surface. Lastly, with the edge of the small hammer, we make a pressure movement and smooth until the joint remains homogeneous at about a millimeter below the surface of the tile. This model, that has a 1.5 mm wide joint, needs to be installed using acrylic caulk. This caulking has special features and is waterproof once dried. It is exclusive to Idec-Icr and is included as part of the kit. We apply a line of caulking as thin as possible along the joints. We clean away any leftover material with a spatula, as you can see in the picture. With the same caulking, we again press it down into the joints, making sure we fill up all the spaces with the material. We then clean up the joints with a damp cloth, making sure that they are all uniform and clean. We remind you how to solve possible difficulties you may encounter during installation. 1. When a tile is moving, as you can see in the picture, we use the additional pieces to compensate. 2. Like you can see, when occurs a staggering or a difference of level between two floor tiles, we put an additional piece on the side of the profile to equilibrate or equalize. 3. When we find a localized bulge of 1, 2 or 3 millimeters, we absorb it by cutting a portion of the sublayer to ensure that the tile we are installing is not affected. For a successful and quality installation, it is imperative to ensure that, firstly, the ground is clean and leveled, and secondly, the tiling is not cambered. Although the system Idec-Icr occasionally allows to compensate any irregularities, the difference of flatness must not exceed 3 millimeters. Congratulations! You've done a good job, and thanks for having chosen the system Idec-Icr to lay your tiles. Enjoy!